Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot.
Hi, how are you today? We're live streaming again, this time from my bedroom. There's Audrey Hepburn. Yep. You can see the back of my head over here, in case you're wondering. Nothing's perfect. So today is interview number 683. We have someone here observing who's going to speak at the end. It's Helaine Witt out of New York. Say hello, Helaine. And my esteemed guest, I'll get to his intro in 1 second, is the amazing Rob Cioffi. Say hi. There you go. And now I'm going to do the intro that Rob sent me. And I like to say that because I'm stalling for time while I find it. I have to cue it up again. 1 second here. Okay. And I don't want you to think I'm stealing his words. These are Rob Cioffi's words. Got it? Okay, folks, here we go. Rob Cioffi has been a stand-up comedian and a stand-up guy for over 15 years and has been a regular opening act for national comedy headliners. Did you hear me? National comedy headliners like Bob Nelson and Al Lubell. He is the founder of an online joke writing community that I go to, that Helaine goes to, called Jokezoom.com. Without further ado, welcome to the stage, the one and only Rob Cioffi.
Yay! Wee! Well, thank you so much for having me, Linda. It's such an honor to be your among the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of important celebrities and people in show business that you have interviewed. And this is a banner day for me. And especially even more so because our great friend Helaine Witt is here to witness this.
Yes.
In all its glory.
It wouldn't have happened without, a lot of things wouldn't have happened in my life without Helaine Witt.
I could say that too.
Absolutely. She's an angel in the comedy community, not just in New York, around the world. Now that Zoom, you can't keep her down. I mean, this girl's something else.
Yeah.
So Rob, you're in New York, you made it through a pandemic. Spill your guts. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want an expose. What's it been like for you in the hotbed of the pandemic to be there in New York? How have you made it?
It's been sometimes been very challenging. I would say I think the last live gig I did in 2020 was on March 14th. And the following week, we were completely shut down as far as comedy in New York. And I was, at that time, I was getting on stage pretty much every week. I was working every week, and it had a big impact on me, not only as a performer, but also socially, because I'm part of a community. I'm here on Long Island, right outside of New York City. And most people don't think much about Long Island, but it's a big place. It's got 6 million residents, and there are probably, every one of them is a stand-up comedian, by the way. And most of them are my friends. Those are the people that I kind of would bare my soul, look forward to seeing, like to hate, all the things that you do with your friends. And the idea occurred to me that, especially in the very beginning, that this locking down for 3 weeks was going to really cripple all of us as comedians. So I decided to start a little community online where we would meet and tell our jokes to each other and try to make them a little bit better. And that evolved into, at first it was very short, maybe it was 4 or 5 people, 6 people. And we met several times a week. And over the course of 2020, that expanded quite a bit. We got so large that we needed to break out the room. We didn't have enough time. The sessions were getting to be 2-3 hours long sometimes. So we broke into these smaller rooms, and people's word of mouth got out, and people started telling their friends that we were writing, these group of people were writing material together for themselves. Does that make sense? Maybe I should take a step back and I'll explain what ultimately it became is jokezoom.com. And if you're interested in, if you're watching this and you have any interest in learning how to create comedy, and specifically write comedy, you can check us out at jokezoom.com. The idea here is we meet daily, and we work on whatever idea, concept, joke that we'd like to, and then the group gives us feedback, right? It's open to anybody. There is no fee. There is no dues. There are no dues. It's completely free. And I guess the thing, get back to the COVID thing, is I get a lot of feedback about it. Not only has it helped people be funnier and help them with their material, but especially during the darkest part of that pandemic, when we really couldn't go out anywhere, it was very comforting to folks, and it was very helpful in a lot of ways for all of our mental health, and helped us. It's a very supportive community, as you've probably seen yourself, because you've been there. You're a big asset, a big part of that as well. And Joke Zoom, you know what I feel when I'm on these things, you got to push. I'm here to sell something. Joke Zoom, Joke Zoom, Joke Zoom.
You don't have a book coming out?
Did I say the book is going to be called jokezoom.com? So come.
What's been your favorite part of having jokezoom.com and the daily work?
I'll tell you what, you'd think, a lot of people ask me this, what do you get out of it? Well, you're not getting any money out of these people. Well, actually, a lot of people donate to keep us afloat, but I'm not making millions, right? And the idea is, I spend a lot of time doing this. I mean, it's 6, not only do I do 6 1-hour sessions a week, I also meet with all of the members once a month. And I also put out a daily newsletter. I put out lots of other. What do? I do lots of stuff, right, Helaine? It's amazing.
Right now.
Unbelievable. She's crying. Crying. I'll tell you what I get out of it. I get more out of it than anybody that attends it, because number one, it kept me sane through one of the most difficult periods of my life. I don't share my personal life with most people. Most people don't know a lot of details about my personal life, but I will say that the last several years, even prior to the pandemic, have been some of the most challenging that I've had to go through. And I wouldn't have been able to, really spin out of it the way I have without the help of these people. And they don't even know it. They don't even know what they've done for me. Additionally, they treat me like a god. You know that? They treat me like I'm a guru. I'm actually could start a cult, Linda. I'm thinking about it. Gonna buy an art.
You kind of act like God, or the Wizard of Oz. You're like lurking in the background, and then you'll come into a Zoom room and and talk to us and
You-
leave.
You got me. You figured me out. Right. But no, it does stroke your ego a little bit for obviously, right? That it's my thing and people go, yeah, I'm the comedy daddy. Here I am coming in. But I've been doing comedy for 15 years and there's I've worked with a lot of really great comedians and I've learned a lot over the 15 years. I have never learned as much as I have over the last 2 by working with the variety of people. And you'd think, oh, well, I want that magic bullet. What's that system? Give me the formula. It's not like that at all. It's that somebody throws something out and you look at it, somebody goes, you're like, what? What? That's funny? And instead of saying that's not funny, I'm not going to, you actually have to sit there and go, what is funny about that? Why did that person bring this? And you have to spend time thinking about it. And it forces you to examine why things are funny. And I think I have an understanding that I didn't have 2 years ago. Now I'm a pretty funny comedian for about 30 seconds, 45 if you really need it. I could stretch it, right? But the idea that anyone, I think anyone, if they really want, it's part of being human. Having a sense of humor is part of being human. And, if you say to somebody, you're not funny, or someone says to me, I'm not funny. Well, unless you're, heavily medicated, right? If you're in a Thorazine fog, and even those people could be hysterical. I don't know if you've ever been to a mental ward. It's funny as hell, some of the things they say. It's part of the human condition. And what the challenge for a stand-up performer is to take that humanness, the interactions that we have in our day-to-day lives, and translate them to the stage, translate them to an audience. And I find that's the most challenging thing. Absolutely. Because being funny, not hard. For most people, not hard to be funny. Hard to be funny when they say, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Linda Marcus Smith. You got to go up to this microphone and humana.
What do you do when somebody gives you a premise or a joke and you're just like dumbfounded that nothing funny is in there? What's your process?
Well, that's very, again, I'll listen to them. First and foremost, the most important thing you can do if you want to work with somebody is to really listen to what they have to say. Do not judge. Listen. Take it on face value. I worked as a substance abuse counselor for a long time. And, the way I would approach somebody, I was trying to help people change, and I learned the way to help people change is to first, you have to accept where they are at, right? You have to accept, okay, this person's in crisis. This person's got problems. I'm not going to try and fix them. I'm just going to listen to what they have to say. Same with the joke. You have to listen and hear, right? So if Helaine comes to me and she says, I saw a beaver sawing wood, and why does a beaver need a saw? Isn't that funny? And I'm, okay. I think the word beaver is funny. Right? The idea is I don't try to judge. Okay. I assume that if they brought it, it's got to be funny. And again, I'm not the ultimate judge on this. I can think things are not funny all the time. But usually you're in a group of 4 or 5 other comedy creators. And that's the beauty of Joke Zoom, right? Is that I might not see it, but Helaine would see it, or you would see it. and you pipe up and you speak something and you go, oh, and then we're all sort of kind of going, oh yeah, right, that's right, I can see that now. So I encourage people not to feel embarrassed about what they present to the group. It's important that you have the freedom to say whatever you think might be funny and bring it to the group. Now, obviously, we're not going to allow certain behaviors that are hurtful to other people. But other than that, and then again, how many times have you written something? I'll ask you this, Linda. How many times have you written something and you thought it was funny for about 20 seconds or 2 minutes or 2 hours, and then looked at it again and go, this is not funny.
Have you been reading my Facebook posts?
Yes. Okay.
All the time.
We do it to ourselves all the time. So, I mean, that's why I don't really think you should ever do it to other people, especially in a forum like JokeZoom. We try to be, and you know what? And sometimes if I know you well, like typically when Tim Thompson throws something out there, it's garbage, and I'll tell him it's garbage. But I know Tim for 15 years, my good friend, right? And by the way, Tim Thompson is not he's probably the most brilliant comedy creator that I've ever met.
Something else.
He is really, really great, but you know.
He helped me with one day and transformed my set from mediocre to worthy for the Madison Square Garden stage.
Yeah, that's right. And then he's also not half bad looking, right, ladies?
Not tough to look at like you.
Got those big blue eyes and that bald head. Super sexy. So, you know, I think, and I'm talking a lot and I apologize, but I really am passionate about JokeZoom, and I am passionate about the people. I tend to be a little bit overprotective of the folks at JokeZoom. You know, I've had people approach me and say, hey, you know, we could make some real money here. Let me come in and I'll bring my people and we'll make, you know, we'll charge them this amount and we'll make them jump through these. And I'm like, no, don't do that. These people
I have to
want
ask you, and
Yes.
I ask this when somebody has a great, big, huge heart, I have to ask this. And you alluded to having.
Yeah. Who's my cardiologist?
No.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You alluded to a rough couple of years, and JokeZoom people have really helped you and taught you so much.
Mhm.
But let me go back, way back. What makes you so caring? We have witnessed it, Helaine and I, and many people have witnessed how caring you are to even do this. Such an embarking thing you're doing, avant-garde, you know, like, and you came out at the beginning of the pandemic and kept it up for other. What makes you the kind of person that even cares to be sensitive about other people?
You want the funny answer or you want the real answer?
I really want the funny later. I want the real first.
Okay. All right. The real answer is I grew up in a dysfunctional home. I had an alcoholic father. I was the oldest of 5. My mother was overwhelmed with the number of children that she had. And I was in this parental role. That's what I think. This is years of therapy. My name is Robert Michael. My next youngest brother was born 11 months later. His name is Michael Robert. The next youngest brother is 11 months later. His name is Darren James. The next brother is a few years later. His name is James Darren. Right. My youngest brother's name is Jonathan James. The reason he's named Jonathan is because by the time he was born, I was 7, and my favorite TV star was Jonathan Winters. And I said, hey, Ma, why don't we name him Jonathan? She goes, okay. So my mother named us all the same kind of names because it was so overwhelming for her to have 5 boys. That was all she kind of mushed us all up into one, kind of, in a way, psychologically. So I have this, and then when you grow up in a dysfunctional home or an alcoholic home, and I love my parents to death. They're gone, and I would give anything to have them back. But they were people and they had their problems. And, you know, there was a lot of drama. And for me, I don't want drama. I want to keep things as peaceful as possible. I'm really, it's actually, it works against me in a lot of ways, but that's the insight. Now you, all of your viewers and the NSA know how to get me.
So what's the funny answer?
The funny answer that is at night, I don't tell anybody this. I dress up like Sally Field. You like me. You do. You like me. That's what I do. Don't picture Helaine's picture me dressed up as Sally Field. I don't have a nun costume, Helaine, so just relax. She's gonna want to see me.
Keep seeing her in a flying nun habit.
She was in the flying nun habit, right?
No, I thought more like Mrs. Doubtfire I was picturing.
She was pretty good looking in Mrs. Doubtfire. Anyway, that's a little insight you can use against me, I guess. There you go.
So you really care about people, and you really listen. And
I do care about. I mean, I might have that. That might have been the genesis of it, but I genuinely care about people, and I think people should genuinely care about each other. This is an amazing. If you think about it, I mean, it's the fact that we're all alive here together at this time is incredible. It's hard to believe. It shouldn't be, and it is. And we should not be taking it for granted. Don't take anybody for granted.
Especially with the pandemic, it's losing so many lives.
Yeah, right. That's another thing too, the tragedies of all that. And you know, hopefully we'll come out of this better people. And because as horrible as this pandemic has been, it's not the first thing that people have had to suffer through, and it's certainly not going to be the last. So we should be helping each other.
Yeah.
And all right. So I hate to do this to you, but
no, I want
Helaine. I paid Helaine a lot of money to come on here and talk about what she's going to say. So
I wanted Helaine to give a nod to anything that she has witnessed at Joke Zoom, and knowing you, and anything she wants to speak of without saying names.
Just remember, I'm a finger on the Venmo button, Helaine. So you keep it. As soon as you say the good stuff, I'm gonna hit the button. No.
You're on, Helaine.
When Rob said, "I hate to do this to you," was that like you have to leave soon? Is that what that meant?
I do have to do we do a free writing as part of Joke Zoom. We do a free writing thing every day, and it's in a half hour. I know I want to stay. I would love to stay for an hour or two or three, because I love to hear myself talk.
That's funny. Well, one thing I want to address, is it my turn to talk about Rob now? One thing I want to address that hasn't been addressed, two things. One is I think Robert, all of a sudden I'm calling him Robert. I think Rob is very religious, like spiritual, and I don't know too much about that. But when the pandemic started, what did Rob write on the Facebook? He said, instead of counting, singing happy birthday, why don't we pray while we wash our hands?
I did say that. Yeah. And if you really care to know, I am religious. I am a snake handler. I handle some rattlesnakes, and pray to God. No, you never see those people? They're funny. No, I mean, again, too, everybody has a spiritual component to them. And, you know, I do believe in God, and I believe God leads people towards him, or towards whatever, her, or whatever you want to. I think it's him in my case. And that's, you know, a big part of how I view the world. Yes. Now, am I Charlie Church? Am I jumping for Jesus every 5 seconds? No. Do I, Helaine? Sometimes, am I the dirtiest guy in the room? Sometimes I am. I can tell a dirty joke.
Sometimes when we're on Joke Zoom at 6 a.m. and someone alludes to something really dirty, Rob goes, "It's a little early for that right now." And I think that's hysterical. But the other thing, if I may, that I want to allude to, that Rob and you didn't, is Rob is like of genius intelligence. He has a background knowledge of the past, generations, plus the future, computers. He's like, and he went to Stony Brook twice, and he'll joke like he got thrown out of Stony Brook twice. You don't get to go to Stony Brook, Linda. Helaine went to LIU with a 76 average. Rob is super intelligent and has ridiculous background knowledge. So no matter what room he goes to, whatever comic is talking, how many people go to Joke Zoom? 25 a day. He could relate with whatever they're talking about. So besides the comedy, brilliance he has and the input he gives, the background knowledge and intelligence, and you know what he said once, Linda? I'm going to rebuild my computer this weekend. That's Rob. So
did.
he's not just a computer genius. He's
Just for fun, I did it. That's right.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I wanted to talk to Rob because I admire that, given my high school average and failing chemistry twice.
Helaine, would you mind telling the folks what you've gotten out of Joke Zoom? Or
I'd love to. Are you kidding? Yeah, I do. Well, what I've gotten out of Joke Zoom is an example I gave before we went on the air. This young fellow was new to Joke Zoom, and then he went to a mic where some Joke Zoomers were, and two people remarked, wow, has he improved? Or since Joke Zoom he improved, or just, wow, he's come so far. And it was just like 2 weeks later. And what I get from Joke Zoom is like, I got to go to school now. I do volunteer work and I work it around Joke Zoom. That's how valuable it is to me. I go, well, I won't be here from 12 to 1. Make it 1:15 just in case Rob keeps us a few extra minutes. I'm like, I did say it was a cult to myself today, Rob. I said, oh, what time is Joke Zoom today? I have to work, oh, darn it, I'll be at acupuncture. I'm going to miss Joke Zoom. Sometimes at PT, I put it on my hearing aid so I could be at Joke Zoom. And then Rob goes, put that old man on, let him tell a joke at the PT. And then the PT puts Joke Zoom on to watch him stepping on my back or whatever. But that's not the serious thing. It's done so much. We've had parties together where we meet. We've given each other gigs. We've met each other. We've gotten closer. We break into our own little, Linda knows at 6 a.m. Bruce, Linda and I, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for Linda. And we do our own little room together. So Joke Zoom has brought people together, and Rob acknowledges everybody. If you had a gig, he'll say, how was your gig? You're in a movie, he'll promote it. So Joke Zoom's done so much during the pandemic. You're sitting home. It's something to look forward to if that were all it was.
Okay. Well, that's very kind words to say for Helaine. And I have to say that Helaine, if Helaine is the I was going to say mascot, but no, she's the probably the linchpin in the success of Joke Zoom. She evangelizes Joke Zoom. She tells everyone about it, and she encourages them to come. And I'm sure that for the majority of people that are in Joke Zoom now who come and stay, many of them stay because Helaine is a participant. And they get so much from her, not only from her, and Helaine is a very funny comedian. Don't be fooled. Very funny, and she's very, very experienced, and she's done quite a number of things. And she's got great insights. I always listen to her advice when she's giving feedback to people, because she, and usually it's the type where you go, what did she mean by that? And then when she explains it and figures that wow, that was exactly what that person needed. So she's I couldn't imagine doing this without her. I really couldn't. So, all right. So now is that going to cost me more now? Okay.
Now, Rob, you have to go.
I
And
do.
you've been so delightful to come on. And
Well, thank you.
folks, this is Rob Cioffi on Facebook, Cioffi,
That's
and
right.
you gotta try out JokeZoom.
Jokezoom.com. Jokezoom.com. Google it.
JokeZoom.com.
Google it.
Do it. Get on there and find it and peruse that website and come to his classes and see what we're talking about. It's magical. It's very helpful.
Awesome. Thank
All
you,
right.
Linda.
Thank you so much for coming on, Rob and
Thank-
Helaine. You're a
Thank you,
doll.
ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. What do you mean? You did a brilliant, the questions you asked Rob couldn't have been more perfect.
Thank you. It's just a short interview. We didn't go into depth like I did with Sinbad. I'm
No,
sorry.
we could do another one if you want. Fun day.
Okay. I'll do
Right.
a Tommy Chong 4-hour one with you.
Okay, there you go.
Bye.
Not to drop names or
Not
anything.
to drop names.
Rob, Tommy, Sinbad, John Lennon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Helaine. Thank you. Bye,
Okay,
Rob.
bye.
Bye-bye.